dramatic irony. So we, the reader, will know this disruption is taking place, but the characters might not realise it yet, and that begins to build suspense as well. Once they do find out about it, what are they going to do? First of all, why do they want to resolve it? Why is it any of their business to get involved in this if it's not directly happening to them? You know, if there is an alien invasion, is it up to just the average man on the street to try and defeat the aliens? Obviously. But why do they want to do that? What is their motivation? It might be as simple as it's their job. You know, there's been a murder, it's your job as a detective, police detective, to investigate the murder.
Hogy ezen a nyáron nem tudom, hogy ki lesz a párom, nem tudom. Hát hogy is tudhatnám, nem tudom, hogy a nő kikendre, nem tudom. Minek jár víkendre, nem tudom. Hát hogy is tudhatnám.
I ended up with a group of guys that are ex-police, so to speak, investigating fraud, kidnapping, money laundering, asset recovery, and that's what I do now. And I've worked throughout the region, as far as Kazakhstan, Serbia, Cyprus, pretty much all over. Anyway, and I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the experiences from a Western perspective, but now having been embedded here for 20 years. Some of sort of the inside scoop that most people don't realize when they're thinking about stories from this part of the world. What people get wrong, what people miss, they don't pick up on. That's me.
Mosolygós vasárnap 101 kis kutyával, 101 kis kutyának 202 farkával.
London Eye, or the Budapest Eye to a lesser extent, with big cabins in, and basically it's a great location because first of all, you've got a limit to the movement of the characters. They're on something in a cabin and the background is moving, so visually it looks really, really interesting because you are going up and you can see the view over nighttime Vienna out the window as they are going up. But it's also interesting, it's also good dramatically in terms of movement because the characters can't get away from each other. They are stuck on this Ferris wheel, at least for the amount of time it takes to do one circuit, and who knows what might happen in that time. Lots of TV shows do this. It's called, in TV writing, a bottle episode. And it's an episode where basically characters who have a long-standing conflict are forced into one single location and stuck there for the entire episode. And usually it brings things to a head. Brings their conflict into outright, often physical conflict. Secrets are revealed, things that they were hiding from each other, deep-seated resentments all emerge, and it's called a bottle episode because it's like everything's been bottled up and now they're stuck in this one place. And that's a bit like this scene from The Third Man, I think. So.
مد علي الأخيدة Keep your coins, I want to change. Keep me outside of the box and outside of the range of a million marketing-minded strangers who all wanna be my friends. Don't want your stuff, got a better deal. A bad people copy and a good one steal. Permission is a grant to not be hated, but God didn't ask for what He created. Can't you see? Can't you see? The world is the work of an imposter. The world is the work of an imposter. So I'm doing what I do best, facing my demons, waiting to rest. I'm a beggar for love on a street for the art. Mr. Banksy, don't break my heart. I am the work of an imposter. I am the work of an imposter.
Wow. That's great, Veronica. Terrific.
Daylight was already fading and the door glowed with her failure. Stepping back, she could see the flaking paintwork showing through the sickly bile that was running and dripping down the door. Behind her, she spotted the child again, watching and moving, judging. In desperation, she grabbed the paint pot, threw the contents at the door, saw the explosion that spattered the woodwork and pavement. In a surge of adrenaline, she scooped up handfuls of paint and grit from the floor, smearing it over the door, scraping the wood, feeling it ooze through her fingers. And for a moment, the glowing yellow was her husband, slipping from her fingers, abandoning her, escaping with a force and energy. She was left behind, the drab, stolid door below.
The escape room, though, being her psychological torment. And she's kind of, and the idea behind this is she's kind of waking up in between. Her only time when her mind's not racing is when she's asleep. So this is kind of like in the middle of the night where she's just woken up and is perhaps at her most lucid and her most deranged almost state. And it's kind of like she's stuck in the room, and then this character suffers from OCD, so there's this constant voice in the room saying different things, evoking her fears. And there's an exit sign above the door, but that's fading as time's going on. So it's kind of like the quicker that's fading, the quicker she's kind of like losing herself to the thoughts, and they're kind of overtaking her thinking.
In fact, a hoarder. His apartment was not small by any reasonable measures. It was one of the vast, high-ceilinged studio spaces that typified accommodation in the city, providing almost enough room for the scavenged multitudes he bought to store within. There were chairs, a set of 4, their surfaces all chipped and splintered, rescued from a street corner near Calvin Plaza where they had been left to rot in the rain. There was a stuffed teddy bear, found bereft and alone in the shadow of a giant crucifix in the city's most famous park. There were rusty bird cages, empty bottles, cardboard boxes, mouldy cushions, and newspaper stacks. It was a cave of bits and bobs, parts and pieces, stolen moments from other people's lives, rendered contextless in their captivity. Once upon a time, he had been a man who ascribed enormous importance to his studio flat in London, with its tiled floors and hardwood walls. Looking back, it had been such a sparse and soulless space, barren, barely furnished but for a white carpet and a handful of ergonomic chairs. He had been neglectful then. He had spent his evenings roaming from bar to bar, from club to club, using alcohol to fuel his frenzy for the nightlife, ecstatically begging for the nightlife to use him up.
And internal and psychological relevance of things, and that's, that was really, really potent, I think, in all the stories.
It reflects on the teacher as well, I think.
Thanks. No, it's been really, really amazing, really good process, and very helpful for me as well as a writer. Here